Ladies and gentlemen, it is baseball time in the state of Texas as MLB The Show 21 has launched, and that means that franchise around the world are being rebuilt, and that's exactly what we're doing here on this channel. We'll be rebuilding the Texas Rangers, a team that I know very well. They're near and dear to my heart as I've grown up a Texas Rangers fan here in the Dallas area, and this is one of the roughest times in Texas Rangers baseball, at least in recent history. The Rangers are a franchise that have been so close to success over the years, but largely have underwhelmed. You think back to 2010, 2011, back-to-back years that they won the American League pennant, but were unable to get a World Series title. And since then, it's been up and down. They've had some really bad years. They've had some years that they've won the AL West crown, but have been unable to advance past the divisional round, in one case even losing in the wild card race to the Baltimore Orioles, the first ever time that wild card game had been played, and the Rangers were a heavy favorite. They fell to Baltimore that night in Arlington. And right now, they find themselves in the middle of a rebuild, a setting where they're not expected to compete for the next probably 3 to 4 years. They have the second overall pick in this 2021 draft coming up this summer, and the Rangers need to get on the rebuilding trail in earnest if they want to contend in the near future. The Rangers hired Chris Young, actually a former pitcher for the Rangers. He's made his debut with Texas before going on to pitch for a collection of other teams. But the Rangers hired Chris away from Major League Baseball. He was working in the corporate office, and MLB didn't renew his contract before the Rangers extended him an offer. And so now Chris Young essentially takes over the general manager duties as John Daniels moves from the GM to president of baseball operations. He's kind of got a hand in just about everything. But it's a nice change, I think, for the Rangers, as there's some new blood in the front office. They're looking forward to hopefully getting to draft some new younger talent and develop them. That's been one of the issues for the Rangers, is they just haven't been able to develop any sort of talent. And that's what we're going to be looking to do this season and the seasons upcoming with the Texas Rangers. Not going to be a super competitive team, I don't think, in year one, but we're going to try our best. You saw me go through the settings there just a moment ago. This is a realistic franchise and a realistic rebuild. I'm not going to be, cheesing the game, taking advantage of the trade logic, although that has been updated this year, really to not only include overall and projections, but also to include the money aspect of it. There's an AI thought process that goes into whether or not they want to take on that contract, not just if they have the room to do so. So hoping that the trade logic is a little bit better. You get a look here at our 2021 roster, and obviously it's not super deep, especially at the pitching position. Dane Dunning is the highest rated pitcher on the roster. And one of the things that I like about this new feature in the game is the projectable screen. So you've got 2021, our roster where we are right now, but you can also go forward up to 4 years from your current season, and the game kind of projects out who's going to be where based on just the ratings and their overall projections. So gives you an idea of what you need to accomplish, what positions you need to build up, and who the game at least expects to stick around long term in your franchise. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what we can do with some talent on the roster. I think you look at guys like Josh Young and Sherton Apostle, guys that are expected to hopefully anchor the corner of the infield for the Rangers going forward. You've got Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who just won a Gold Glove for the Texas Rangers at third base. He now slides over to shortstop. It's a big question of what he'll be able to do, and maybe more importantly, what to do in the outfield right now. The game right now has Willie Calhoun slotted into center field, and that brings me actually to an important point. This is the introductory video to the franchise, but I'm not going to start playing opening day yet, and we'll go across the schedule, the first month anyway, in just a moment. But I'm not going to be playing the franchise games until the Scout Scoops full minors rosters come out with. I've played those for the last 6 years and have enjoyed them immensely. They add such an element of realism with their full minor league roster. So for this year's game, all 93 men on each individual team will be real. They will be in their rotation and in that organization. And so I like as realistic of a simulation as possible, and those rosters give me that option. So like I said, I've played them for the last several years, and I've really enjoyed them, and we'll be waiting to start the actual franchise until it comes out. Things to look for this season for the Rangers. I think the most pressing question, what do we do with Joey Gallo? You see there on your screen, obviously a power-hitting monster, but he's in a contract season, and the Rangers historically do not offer arbitration to players, at least not since John Daniels took over. They haven't been to arbitration one single time under JD, and they avoided it again with Joey Gallo and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Both of them are on one-year deals with the Rangers, and kind of signals maybe their intent in real life that Joey and maybe even Isaiah don't factor in to the winning window of this team long term. I think that there's certainly an argument to be made for Isaiah, as I don't even think that's him in his profile picture. I'm pretty sure that's Leody Taveras. But anyway, Kiner-Falefa certainly has maybe some characteristics that I would like to build around. You see he's got a 93 fielding. I think he could absolutely be a long-term middle infielder for us. Can his bat progress? We'll see about that. But Joey could bring us quite a bit of talent at the trade deadline, and so we've got to think long and hard about whether or not we want Joey, age 27 right now, to stick around long term, or if we really feel like his putting him on the block and trading him to a contender is the move that we need to do in order to get talent in. Next item of business will be noting that Jose Leclerc and Jonathan Hernandez, which unfortunately are both the two highest pitchers on this team, neither one of them will be used in 2021. Both Jose Leclerc and Jonathan Hernandez have had Tommy John surgery and will not be available in real life. And since those injuries happened prior to the season starting, I'm going to honor that. Again, I'm going for the most realistic experience possible. And so Leclerc and Hernandez will be out for the season. The other questions surrounding the team: does the Rangers have a future second baseman in Nick Solak? Can he raise his fielding level to be something that's above league average? That'll be a good question going forward. And, do we have any sort of potential on the starting pitching, I think, is the next step. Obviously, Kyle Gibson, Foltynewicz, Colby Allard, maybe, but the first two certainly don't figure in. I think you're looking to build around Dane Dunning, Colby Allard, and then these guys, Joe Palumbo, Jason Bear, Hans Kraus, Cole Winn, if he can stay healthy. The Rangers have talent. They just have not been able to develop it over the last couple of seasons. And one of the things that's going to be huge for us in this franchise is scouting and making sure that we're getting the best talent out there possible. Again, we have the second overall pick this year, so all but one of these blue chippers will be available to us, and it's going to be interesting to see who falls to us at number 2, who basically that the Pirates pass over, and what we can do from there. As I mentioned in the intro screen, not a big budget to work with. In fact, the 2021 squad coming in at $85 million. And this was a feature that they added last year. You can see in 2022 and beyond, it projects how much salary that you have on the books for the next couple of seasons. We essentially get a blank slate. This first off season will be huge because we've only got $12 million committed past this year, and we don't have a single dollar on the books in 2024 and beyond. So we truly do get to build this team up, and that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, it's my hometown team. I know a lot about the Rangers, but they're so moldable this year in the new game that I just couldn't pass up that challenge. Last thing that we'll look at very quickly here is the first month schedule. Again, we will set all of our lineups, our rotations, and everything once the new rosters come out. And I'm going to be playing opening day against Kansas City. Looking forward to that. The Rangers will then come home to open up Globe Life Field to the general public for the first time against Toronto. I was there for that game in real life, and interesting to know what you think about the game. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the new stadium, if you've seen it, if you've been to it, and if you like it or not. I know there's a lot of people that are on both sides of the aisle there, and I'm in the camp that I like the stadium. Are there some things that are kind of quirky about it? Sure. It's not the temple that was Globe Life Park across the street, but I'm overall in favor of the new ballpark. So we'll welcome Toronto and San Diego. Slam Diego comes to town. That'll be a great game. Obviously, this Friday night game, Joe Musgrove threw the no-hitter. I was unfortunately also in attendance for that. So we'll have our hands in these first three series a lot, and then we'll start simming and using quick manage a lot more as we progress. But Tampa on the road, and then back home to play Baltimore. We'll go on the road for a West Coast road trip, or at least it'll start in the West Coast against the Angels, take on the White Sox, and then right back home to end the month of April. So let me know what you think of this franchise, what you're most excited about in the comments. I'm really looking forward to getting this going, and as you can see, we quite clearly have a challenge on our hands, but it's going to be fun, and I hope you'll join me for this journey together. Well, that'll do it for episode 1 of the 2021 Texas Rangers franchise. The rebuild gets started on the channel for the first time ever. Until next time, so long, everybody.